More than 1,000 people have been in Ukraine since the start of Russia's invasion, the UN Human Rights Agency says, as the humanitarian crisis worsens. Key points. The UN Human Rights Agency says at least 1,035 people have been and 1,650 wounded in Ukraine. The UN Human Rights Agency says at least 1,035 people have been and 1,650 wounded in Ukraine. Ukraine's Navy says it has destroyed a Russian naval ship near the port city of Berdyansk. Ukraine's Navy says it has destroyed a Russian naval ship near the port city of Berdyansk. Some aid has reached the besieged southern city of Mariupol. The United Nations Human Rights Office said in a statement on Thursday that at least 1,035 people had been and 1,650 wounded, with 90 children among them. It said the true figures were believed to be considerably higher due to delays in reporting from areas with intense fighting, including in the southern besieged city of Mariupol. In their last update, over a week ago, Mariupol officials said at least 2,300 people had, but the true toll was likely much higher. Ukrainian Deputy Prime Minister Irina Vereshchuk said Russian forces had prevented civilians leaving Mariupol on Thursday, although Ukrainian authorities had rear 40 buses for their evacuation. The Ukrainian Navy says it has destroyed a large Russian Navy landing ship. Russian warship destroyed. Mariupol has seen the worst devastation of the war, enduring weeks of ardent and now street-by-street fighting. But Ukrainian forces have prevented its fall, thwarting an apparent bid by Moscow to fully secure a land bridge from Russia to Crimea, which was seized from Ukraine in 2014. On Thursday, Ukrainian Navy officials said they had destroyed the Russian landing vessel Orsk, docked near the occupied port city of Berdyansk, 84 kilometers southwest of Mariupol. Loading. Ukraine's Navy released footage which showed two vessels, one of which appeared to have been damaged, sailing out of the dock as a third ship burned. Yes, it's destroyed, Ukraine's Deputy Defense Minister, Hanna Maliar, told a video briefing when asked about the Orsk. The ship was capable of carrying 45 armored personnel carriers and 400 people, she said. Russia did not immediately comment on the claim. Russia has been in possession of the port since February 27. The Orsk had debarked armored vehicles there on Monday for use in Moscow's offensive, the Zvezda TV channel of the Russian Defense Ministry said earlier this week. Some humanitarian aid has been delivered to parts of Mariupol, though attempts to organize humanitarian corridors out of the city continue. Difficulty leaving Mariupol, aid trickles in. In the Russian-held part of Mariupol, trucks arrived with food supplies in cardboard boxes bearing the Z logo that has become the Russian symbol of its special operation. Hundreds of people, many elderly, emerged from surrounding ruins, queuing mostly in silence as men in Russian Emergencies Ministry uniforms distributed boxes. Angelina, a young mother of two, said she had received bread, nappies and baby food. It's difficult to leave by bus now. We hope the number of people trying to get out will go down and it will get easier for us to leave, she said. Loading. In the northern city of Chernihiv, Russian forces aid and destroyed a bridge that was used for aid deliveries and civilian evacuations, Regional Governor Vyacheslav Chaus said. City Council Secretary Alexander Lomarko said a catastrophe was unfolding for the population as Russian troops deliberately targeted food stores during the near-month-long siege. Katerina Mitkovich, 39, who arrived in Poland after fleeing Chernihiv, wiped away tears as she said the city was without gas, electricity or running water, and entire neighborhoods had been destroyed. I don't understand why we have such a curse, she said. Mr. Lomarko estimated that more than 130,000 people were left in the city out of a pre-war population of 285,000, but said Ukraine remains in full control. Chernihiv is under total control of Ukrainian army. The Ukrainian flag waves here, he said. More than 80 residential buildings have been reported damaged by Kiev city officials. Ukrainian forces push back Russian assault. Meanwhile in Kiev, Ukrainian officials said its troops had pushed back Russian forces from some areas around the city, but Russia had not given up hope of surrounding and seizing the Ukrainian capital. In some sectors, the enemy was driven back by more than 70 kilometers. In some sectors the enemy is at a distance of 35 kilometers, Defense Ministry spokesperson Alexander Matuzianik told a televised briefing. Without citing evidence, he said the Kremlin had been sending additional military equipment to Belarus to reinforce its troops attacking Kiev. Russian forces are expected to resume offensive operations to capture larger cities such as Kharkiv, pictured. Russia still trying to resume offensive. 4 weeks into Russia's Lie onslaught, its forces appear to have stalled in many places in the face of fiercer-than-expected Ukrainian resistance. Ukraine's Armed Forces Chief of Staff said on Thursday Russia was still trying to resume offensive operations to capture the cities of Kiev, Chernihiv, Sumy, Kharkiv and Mariupol. To counter troop shortages, Moscow was moving in fresh units close to the Ukraine border and calling up soldiers who had recently served in Syria, it said. Ukrainian presidential advisor Oleksiy Arestovich said on Thursday that in many areas Russian troops did not have enough resources to push ahead with their offensive in Ukraine, leading to a slowdown in hostilities. The front line is practically frozen, he said in a televised address. The enemy in very many areas does not have the resources to continue the offensive. M to mute, left and right arrows to seek, up and down arrows for volume. Watch 2 minutes 20 seconds 2 minutes and 20 seconds behind the lens of the devastating images from the war in Ukraine. AP